So doctors want just a little bit more autonomy, but also flexibility in the space that they utilize, or they may not want to be restricted to a long-term lease. And that's basically the opposite of what landlords want. So the impetus of founding MedCoShare is, why don't we provide the landlords what they want? Is basically we as MedCoShare will take a 10-year lease with them. We'll give the deposit, we'll do the fit out, and then we'll make the space turnkey, which allows the doctors to come in and rent on a part-time or full-time basis. So we're kind of like the middleman between the two, and we solve the problem on both sides.
Welcome to the Real Estate Mogul MD podcast. Thanks for tuning in and taking control of your financial future. This is a show where we not only motivate and inspire, we give you actionable real-world experience to help you live life by design. You'll hear journeys and stories from other physicians, investors, coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs. And now, here's your host, Brett Riggins. Today, I'm excited to welcome Ronak Vyas, CEO and co-founder of MedCoShare, a company transforming how healthcare practitioners lease office space. MedCoShare offers flexible and affordable co-working solutions for doctors and other medical professionals. With 4 current locations and plans to expand nationwide, Ronak is here to share how his innovative model is helping medical professionals succeed. Let's dive in. Well, Ronak, welcome to the show. To start, could you share a little bit of your background in commercial real estate and what inspired you to co-found MedCoShare?
Yeah, Brett, first of all, thanks for having me. So my background is commercial real estate. I started in brokerage, and that's where I represented buyers and sellers of commercial real estate properties in Philadelphia. At that time, I was also representing doctors that wanted to rent space. And that's where I saw the inherent problem between landlords and doctors. So landlords want long-term leases. They want you to take a predefined amount of space. So that doesn't really allow for flexibility that docs need when they're first getting started, right? So doctors want just a little bit more autonomy, but also flexibility in the space that they utilize, or they may not want to be restricted to a long-term lease. And that's basically the opposite of what landlords want. So the impetus of founding MedCoShare is, why don't we provide the landlords what they want? Is basically we as MedCoShare will take a 10-year lease with them. We'll give the deposit, we'll do the fit out, and then we'll make the space turnkey, which allows the doctors to come in and rent on a part-time or full-time basis. So we're kind of like the middleman between the two, and we solve the problem on both sides.
Interesting. So you're leasing and then leasing.
Correct. Yeah.
Interesting. And do you have any intentions, or have you run the model at all on acquiring space and then leasing?
We have. So we've run the math. And I personally am a fan of buying real estate. You know, after starting my own brokerage company, I started investing in small, like multifamily buildings. And, you know, that was good for the knowledge and everything. But, you know, it wasn't what I wanted to do long term. And that's kind of why I also shifted to MedCoShare. But the reason why we don't buy is because there's a lot of capital that's tied up into commercial real estate properties. Mm-hmm. Right now, we don't have that issue, right? We're just paying a deposit, and then we're going to get started with the landlord. A lot of times, because the way the office market is right now, they're eager to do deals. So, you know, I've been getting turnkey deals where they're doing 100% of the fit out. Then we get a concession period of a few months of free rent. And then all we have to do is furnish it and, you know, start marketing the place. So it's, you know, it's a lot less costly for us to lease a space than it is to purchase a building.
Yeah. So that just makes me think it's a higher ROI out front because you got less capital into the deal. But then the thing that you don't have as an investor then is that equity turn or opportunity to exit with an equity position at the end, but higher return out front. The coolest thing about this is what you're doing for the physicians and for those. And there's something happening out there, Ronak, where I feel it on the show, talking with people, the way that medicine is going, the battle with insurance companies, all of this stuff, the commercialization of hospitals, all of this stuff. There's this push towards private care, this DPC world of just bringing things back to the way they used to be, where you could go in and see a physician and have time with that physician and have proactive care, not reactive care. You are offering a platform that allows physicians and medical professionals to take this jump without minimizing some of the big things that are out there that would crush a new physician. Could you explain how your model differs from the traditional medical office leases?
Yeah, absolutely. So a traditional lease, right? You're going to be tied up for anywhere between 3 to 10 years. Oftentimes you're contributing to the fit out, or you're giving a large deposit to offset the cost of the fit out if the landlord is doing it. We get rid of all of that. So we are on a month-to-month membership agreement. And so doctors have the flexibility of just trying out the space. Or if they don't know how much space they need, they can start with one room and then, go on to multiple rooms. You can also be part-time, which is really tough to do in a traditional lease model, right? So like if somebody wanted to practice just once a week or twice a week, you can't really do that with a lease because at that time you're getting the entire space, right? So like it solves a lot of problems and it really helps doctors get started a lot faster. And I know this, podcast has a focus on like investing. And the way I see it is, saving money is a way of investing as well. And saving time is a way of investing as well. So with us, you can get started in less than a week and your upfront cost significantly diminishes. So just to give you an example, our, starting point for our spaces is $625 a month, right? And it goes up to, anywhere from that to a few $1,000s, depending on what package you get. So you can start with us for $625, and you compare that to what you would have to do just to get a lease. It could be a deposit of $10,000, $20,000. I personally have done a deposit of over $50,000 to get a space. So I know what that's like. And I've seen and I've done other deals where, some of these costs up front are a killer.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. I mean, I've rented an office with a desk in it for $500 a month, in a co-working space, and that's it. And there are other things here that maybe I had somebody at the front desk, but it was nowhere near, I think, what I'm seeing in these fully furnished offices that you currently have 4 locations that I see on your website. What specific services and amenities does MedCoShare provide to support independent healthcare practitioners?
Brett, that's a great question. So what we found is, real estate and staffing is usually the first and second largest costs for any practice, right? But another problem that happens after that is how do you get new patients? And if you're in a very competitive city like Philadelphia, where we're based, it's not easy, right? You're competing against large hospital systems. You're competing against large established practices. So the marketing aspect is really important, especially if you're doing something like direct primary care, or maybe you're doing you're an esthetician and you're providing Botox. So anything that's elective, you definitely have to do much more marketing. So we've added marketing service where we can help build out your website. We can do SEO, blog content, social media management, and basically, create a brand where patients will start associating you with that brand. And I think that's the trend that it's going nowadays. People don't just want to see a blank website with just information, right? Especially the younger you are, the more.
I don't trust you. If your website doesn't load and all of a sudden it's not, it's not secure, I don't trust you right out of the gate.
Yeah. And it's funny, like a lot of people, I mean, I'm in my mid 40s and we're kind of hesitant to all this and kind of creating a personal brand. But we've seen the value. Like we've had other docs create TikTok pages and they've, got very viral just from like showing small procedures that they're doing. And it really helps because, the more patients see you, the more they're going to trust you. So if they have to decide between someone that they've seen on social media or someone that they've never seen before, they're going to most likely pick the one that they know, who that person or group is.
Very interesting. So offering that back end piece, and again, just getting this, I say it a lot. If we're going to try something, if you're going to start your practice or start a company, we talk a lot about entrepreneurship on this platform too. Taking these little, what I call sniper shots, and being able to take a shot without risking everything. And I think this platform does that, where it mitigates these other costs. And if you're talking about marketing and other ways, surrounding yourself with people who are already doing what you want to do. I mean, there's so many great things that are happening here.
Yeah.
Many physicians face high upfront costs and long-term commitments with traditional leases. This difference that MedCoShare kind of shrinks that down. Can you share a success story of a practitioner who benefited from your flexible leasing model?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we have a mutual, contact. So Dr. Kavalak in our King of Prussia location, right out of residency, he wanted to do DPC, but finding that space was an issue. And he told me, as soon as you open King of Prussia, we want to be basically your first member. And he was. So as soon as we opened, him and his partner took our full-time room, and they've been practicing there ever since. And so they've never went, the route of working for a large practice or working for a hospital. They knew exactly what they wanted to do right after residency. And this really allowed them to not have so many upfront costs, right? To get in at a fraction of what they would be paying otherwise. So I think that's a great success story. And that's like the story that we want to kind of emulate across the US, right? So our strategy now is, we pick a market, put 3 or 4 locations in that market, and then move on. And our large vision is to be a national company. Currently we're in 3 states, but the goal is to be, pretty much in every state in the US.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Dr. Kavalak was actually a guest on the show, and we were having this conversation, and I learned of MedCoShare that way. And I said, hey, this is a great idea. And I love what it's offering to other physicians who want to get out and make that jump, take that leap, but able to do it with these sniper shots the way that I'm talking about. And yes, I want to repeat this, right out of residency right into his own practice, right out of the gate. Yep. So that's remarkable. It's so cool to see. So you have 4 locations, and on your website, you can see this, and I've got this up, medcoshare.com. You've got the 4 sites in there. One's in Texas. We've got one in Philly, the one in King of Prussia you talked about, and one in Jersey. What's that look like, moving forward? I heard you want a national expansion. This is a great opportunity. What strategies are you employing to scale MedCoShare?
Yeah, so we are currently actively fundraising a seed round. So we're looking to raise 1.25 million on WeFunder. So, the website is wefunder.com/MedCoShare. And basically all the funds would allow us to grow in terms of locations, but also in terms of services. And I think this is a great, avenue for doctors to also invest in, because it's a problem that they know. And we're solving a problem that a lot of people in healthcare already know exists. And if you're a member and also an investor, you get a discount on the membership. So we've also had a few members who've invested in the company, and then they get a discount for a year off the membership price.
It's very interesting. So not only is it an opportunity for real estate, but it's an investment opportunity as well too. And this 1.25, you're using that. Tell me a little bit about your direction with that 1.25. Are these to do the deposits like we're talking about and set up the systems, payroll? Tell us a little bit about the angle for that 1.25.
Yeah, absolutely. So whenever we open a new location, we have the expense of furnishing it and fitting it out. So that's one. But then the other expense is just marketing that new site. Mm-hmm. So then we spent, a good amount of time and energy marketing it and trying to fill it up as fast as we can. So each location takes about 100 to 150,000 to open. And it's split between, payroll costs, sometimes travel costs, furnishings, and then also marketing. Then on the services side, a part of the funds that we raise will going to go to increasing the amount of services that we can provide. So right now we focus on marketing, but there's so many more services. So providing MAs in all our location is another service that's going to be really helpful to docs. Helping them out with EHR, billing and scheduling. There's a whole variety of things that are needed to start and run a practice. And our goal is to kind of be vertically integrated, where a doc can come in, start a new practice, and we have all the services they need to be fully functional.
That is awesome. How do you ensure consistency and quality of service across different locations? Because you're not, some people think when I say, when they say McDonald's stuff, it can be bad, but that's not it. Yeah. In business, when you can McDonald's, when you can create that consistency, it's a good thing. So how do you ensure consistency and quality across the services?
Yeah, a part of that is, training and hiring right. So with every, member that we bring on board, and every employee that we bring on board, we want to make sure that they understand customer service, because we're, essentially a B2B company, but it's B2B to C, right? So we always have to think about what's the patient's experience when they walk into a MedCoShare space. So it has to be a little bit elevated, and everything has to be a little bit better. So it needs to feel like a med spa when you walk in, and not a typical doctor's office. And I think patients like that, the doctors like that, and then we're all trained to basically be very hands-on and to maintain that image, throughout all of our locations. So for us, it's extremely important that, customer service is at the forefront of how we run this business.
So you mentioned B2B, B2C, B2B to C, and I just want to slow down and drop the bombs on this. So business to business, yep. In a lot of the sales world of product services, if I'm a business selling to a business, or I'm a business selling to a consumer, that's that B2C. And when you mention B2B to C, it means that I'm a business selling to a business, but ultimately we're selling to the consumer, which is the patient. Exactly. And making sure that we're building this platform, building the team. I mean, you hit it on the nose, building the right team to get this thing consistent and make sure the culture is there. And I love this idea. I pray for you and your team that it doesn't get commercialized to the point where it turns into another hospital. Yeah. But to do that, it's to maintain the culture. It's to build a team, have the right people around you, and in your team, making sure that you're going to these locations, you're walking through. I think of some of my favorite restaurants. And this is my one time. I may go to this restaurant one time in like 2 or 3 months. And this is my 15 minutes of fame. I love this. I love this restaurant, right? Yeah. And I go there and I don't get that culture that I'm expecting. And I just become another number or a 5 or 10 minutes in somebody's bad day. It's just a horrible spot. But being able to test and keep those services consistent is really cool. You mentioned vertically integrated as well too. So I just want to step back and kind of build that. In my mind, it's if I were to stretch these services out on a timeline, and I were to say, okay, well, when this physician wants one real estate, okay, great. So here's the spot. We've got that attacked. We've got it furnished. And then the second one was staffing, right? I think that's the second high cost he had. Well, we can do that too. We can provide medical assistance, the front desk, all of these things that you're integrating into the service and vertically building those silos. So you've got real estate, you've got staffing, you've got marketing, right? There's another silo that we're building. So in my mind, that's vertically integrating. So it's almost like a one-stop shop thing. Would you agree with that?
100%. Yeah. The way I like to say it is we're a private practice accelerator, right? So you start Absolutely. With us, and our goal is to, let's just, give you the support that you need to grow this as fast as you want to, right? And some people are happy with one location, but we actually have quite a few providers that will go in multiple locations of ours. So because they want to get a diverse patient pool. So South Jersey has a different patient pool, right? Versus King of Prussia, versus Philadelphia. So they're able to, with one membership, right, open in 2 locations, in 3 locations. And I think that's been really helpful, because if you think about, if this didn't exist and they wanted to be in those 3 locations, now you're talking about 3 long-term leases or purchasing the real estate. So now you're talking in the millions versus, less than $5,000, right? So it's a
Interesting.
significant difference.
So in the world of, so of course there's telemed, like you can do this to where you can be anywhere, but this almost is a new approach to where you could almost be nomadic. Cause like, okay, I want to go to Florida for, a year. And then
Yeah.
I could set up with you if on an accelerator platform, if you've got the marketing in place to really hit this stuff, and I could go, and do this, and even group sharing the space. There's just so much potential for this. What trends do you foresee in the medical co-working space industry, and how is MedCoShare positioning itself to lead in this evolving market?
Brad, that's another great question. So obviously, you mentioned this, the retailization of healthcare is happening at a higher level at this point, right? Because just of hospitals consolidating, private equity money coming in, buying a lot of large practices. So we want to kind of be the alternative option to that, right? Doctors shouldn't feel like their only option is to either work for a hospital or be part of this large practice and eventually get, bought out by a PE fund. So the trend that we're seeing is that there is a lot of dissatisfaction amongst the physicians, and they do want autonomy. They do want flexibility. And doctors have different stages of their life as well, where their needs are different, right? So we have several physician moms who maybe they want to work part-time when they have a new baby. They don't want to be full-time going from hospital to hospital, having long weeks, right? Because they have a newborn at home. Or maybe you might have a retiring physician who doesn't want to retire completely, but he doesn't want to be full-time, right? So we are the perfect solution for that. And I think providing this flexibility is a trend that's going to grow. And I think the younger doctors and new doctors that are coming in, they're going to appreciate this a lot more.
Yeah. You are the co-founder of MedCoShare. Who is the other co-founder?
Yeah, so I have 3 other co-founders.
3.
One of them is Dr. Greg Goldmacher. So him and I actually went to business school, and that's where we became friends. And he was the first person I shared this idea with, and I said, hey, just give me your, honest opinion. What do you think? And so, he liked the idea, and, his feedback was it's all about execution, which I agreed with. And then the other 2 co-founders, both are friends of mine. One comes from an engineering background, but he did great with flipping homes and, became a millionaire in his early 30s just from doing single family homes and then eventually, flipping them. And my other co-founder, we were partners on the real estate side before we started MedCoShare. So we've been working together for the last 15 years. We bought properties together. We managed properties together. So I knew his strengths and weaknesses, and he knew my strengths and weaknesses. So it just felt like a really great team to take this national, right? So my vision was not, let's do 1 or 2 or 3 locations and create a small business. It was always, let's fundraise, let's get the capital we need, and let's go big, right? Mm-hmm. We know there's a need. Let's fill that need, and let's take that chance of doing turnkey medical space, because if you look at what's happening right now, not a lot of people are doing turnkey medical. They're scared. I mean, people like just in the office world are scared to do things unless they already have a tenant in place. Nobody's doing speculative healthcare, right? Other than hospitals. And some of them are going out of business too. Mm-hmm. So it's not even like guaranteed that you're going to be successful just because you put up a micro hospital or you put up a new clinic somewhere. There's no guarantees. So for us to take on that risk, we felt like it was really worth it. And obviously we have to be very strategic about it, but I'm very bullish on like the long-term aspects of this business.
Well, I can't say how cool this is for the trends and the changes of what we're seeing for medical professionals out there. I love the team that you've built. I love this platform that you've built. Thank you so much, Ronak, for sharing your insights, your journey. For the listeners interested in learning more and exploring leasing options and even the locations, where can they find more information about MedCoShare?
Yeah, I think the website is great. So medcoshare.com. And then if they're interested in investing, we are currently active on WeFunder. So wefunder.com/MedCoShare.
Beautiful. And these will be in the description of the show. But just for the listeners out there kind of touring around in their car or walking down the hall, this is MedCoShare. It's MEDCOSHARE. And then the WeFunder is WEFUNDER.com. And then the / is the same as the .com, MedCoShare.
Yep.
So much here, so much to unwrap. Thank you so much for your time today, Ronak.
Yeah, Brett, thanks for having me. And I love what you do. I saw your website and you're doing amazing things. So keep it up.
Man, that gives me goosebumps. Thank you so much. It's just kind of like combining these things. It's a snapshot. If anybody could ever see my board in my office of brain dumping and putting stuff together, the cool thing is when you see all these pieces come together, you put the right people in the circle who have that same shared vision, magic happens.
Exactly. You got it.
Awesome.
All right, Brett. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Big thanks to Ronak for joining us today. I just wanted to leave you with just a few notes from our conversation. MedCoShare makes office leasing easier and more affordable for healthcare practitioners. Flexible co-working spaces help reduce financial and operational stress for medical professionals. The national expansion plans mean more practitioners will benefit from this innovative model. To learn more, visit medcoshare.com or explore the investment opportunities at wefunder.com /MedCoShare. That information is in the description of the show. Thank you again for your time. And as always, thank you for your attention. It's time to put your attention on your own practice if you haven't already. This is a great platform. You hear me say it all the time. Take these sniper shots. This is a great platform to be able to take that sniper shot, take control of your own practice. We'll see you the next time. This is a Real Estate Mogul, MD.